Well, if you want a ranking of deserving teams, go watch the resume ranking video that I posted earlier tonight. It is Sunday night right now, 10:35. That video is already uploaded. This one is all about who I think are the best teams in the Power 5, really the entire FBS. For college football, Michigan is number one, and they are number one for the second week in a row for the Dependent Fanatic power ranking. They are 5-0. Domination again against a bad team. Finally, they really dominated 45-7 over Nebraska. Wins are not as good as some of the other top 10 teams, but Rutgers and UNLV are no joke. Their only loss is to Michigan. Who knows? UNLV might go on and win the Mountain West, but they are scoring points against Michigan. Not so much. The key is Michigan's defense. 6 points per game in 5 games. That's why they are number one in the power ranking. Number two for me is Texas, 5-0. They dominated Kansas, who was undefeated, 40-14 over Kansas. Their wins include at Alabama, Wyoming, and Kansas, who all are one-loss teams. These wins cannot be denied. They are number two. I had these top two in the playoff before the in the preseason, before the season even started, and they are looking really good. Number three, I did not have in the playoff, is Florida State. They are 4-0, and they had a great bye week. I tell you what, they moved up a few spots. LSU lost, but barely on the road, and Clemson proved that they are a quality opponent, beating Syracuse on the road. Only a point per game differential to Michigan and Texas. Michigan has 28 points per game differential. Texas is 23. That is really the reason why Florida State is number 3 and not higher. But they also have that game versus Boston College, where you only won by 2 points, Florida State. So that's holding you down at number 3. Penn State scared me. They're 5-0, but they scared me all game versus Northwestern. Took them a while to beat that spread. And it finally was because of an interception. That defense is really good, but Aller needs some work. The offensive line is better than last year. Number 4 is still good. Still good for Penn State. You are ahead of Georgia and Ohio State right now in my power ranking. And speaking of Georgia, they are number 5. I didn't drop them all the way down to number 9 like Uncle Lou did. But, South Carolina and now Auburn proved they could hang with Georgia. But Georgia still has a mental fortitude that they can come back and win any game. So, like he says, someone's got to beat us, right? Well, Georgia has all the pieces. They just need to put it all together for once. The talent and coaching is there for Georgia, and they are trying to three-peat as national champions. So they're going to get every team's best shot. Number 6, right behind them, because they could not beat them in the playoff last year, Ohio State. They're 4-0. They had a bye. But Notre Dame proved that they are a pretty good opponent that you beat barely on the last second last week. They beat Duke on the road. I just think Georgia's still better than Ohio State. That's why I'm one spot ahead. Notre Dame win was impressive, but I'm still not sold on Ohio State. The defense is better than the rest of these teams on this list, though, 7 through 10. Ohio State is improving in that area. Number 7, right behind them, is Oregon, 5-0. Oregon just keeps blowing people out. But Colorado is the only good team that they have played. So we will see what them numbers what they really mean. Do they matter? Like the next team, I want to see more. Oregon has plenty of challenges coming up in the Pac-12, just like the next team. So it will shake itself out. But Oregon, I have right ahead of Washington right now. Washington is number 8 on this list, 5-0. They dropped 4 spots from last week after that performance versus Arizona. I need to see more from them, but Penix had no touchdowns, but McCarthy had 3 interceptions in one game, so that can be forgiven. Proof, I have Michigan at number 1, so that is not the reason they are number 8. It's the defense that I'm concerned about for Washington. 2 straight games, they give up a lot of points versus Cal and then versus Arizona. Now, that's not ideal. Number 9 is the team that Ohio State beat. Yes, the first one-loss team in my power ranking all season, Notre Dame. They're 5-1. They have 2 road wins versus one-loss teams, and their only loss is to the number 6 team on this list. Their point per game differential is 24 for Notre Dame. That includes the Ohio State game. I just have advice to them. Learn to play 11 guys. You would have won that game. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Great bounce back win versus Duke. Notre Dame is number 9, and USC rounds out the top 10, 5-0. I thought the defense was better, but it's not. It will cost you eventually in the playoff if you get there, or in the regular season. The offense is elite, but football is an intricate sport in that it involves offense and defense. two things. And if you want to include special teams, sure, you're pretty good at that. Not too bad, but defense is lacking. There's a huge hole there. I picked you to make the playoff, but I'm starting to doubt it now for USC. So get your act together defensively if you're gonna run through the Pac-12. You've seen all the ranked teams. It's gonna be tough. So there you have it. My 4 playoff teams are still currently intact in this top 10. Michigan, Texas, Georgia, and USC is who I had in the preseason making the playoff, and I'm feeling comfortable with 3 of them. Looking at you, USC, down there at number 10. And I would just go ahead and say Oklahoma, I think, is number 11. But they have to play Texas this week. I think Texas wins. So really a mute point for Oklahoma there. They have done better. They're one of the 2 teams that are top 7, top 5 in both offensive and defensive categories, but they've played nobody. So we'll just have to wait and see what you do versus Texas. Thank you, everybody. Like the video, share, subscribe if you have not. Thank you for the new subscribers, couple that I've had in the last week, and have a great night, everybody. But go blue, number 1, baby.